Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à Learn French by Suchita. Je m'appelle Suchita, votre enseignante de la langue française, and in this video, I am going to teach you la négation, troisième partie, which means the negation, third part. Before we begin with this video, I would like to introduce you to my website www.learnfrenchbysuchita.com, where you will find recorded courses for all your French language needs. We have courses for DELF A1, DELF A2, DELF B1, TEF TCF recorded course, French phonetics as well. We have special courses for our school students ranging from grade 5 to grade 8. We also have courses for university students who are enrolled in certificate course or diploma course in Delhi University. And finally, we also have courses for our school students who are aiming to appear for their DELF Preem or DELF Junior examinations. So hurry up and check it out. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. And as I already told you, I'm going to divide this series into 3 videos. In the first part of the series, I had already taught you how do you write the most basic negation in French. That means how do you say not in French. In the second part, I taught you 4 negations. That means how do you say nothing, nobody, how do you say never, and how do you say nowhere in French. Today is the third and the final part of our series where I'm going to teach you 3 more negations. That means how do you say not yet, no more, and how do you say neither and nor in French. If you like this video, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and mention your comments in the comment section below. And in case you're not following me over my Instagram page, go and follow me over there as well. Since this is the third and the final part of our series, La Négation, if you have not watched the first 2 parts of the series, I'm going to mention the link in the card above. You can watch those videos and then come back here again. I'm going to mention the same links in the description box below as well. Now, I hope all of you can see my screen now. As I already told you in the first part of this series, I had taught you how do you say the most basic negation in French. That means how do you say not in French. Then in the second part of the series, I taught you 4 negations, which were how do you say nobody in French, how do you say nothing, how do you say nowhere, and how do you say never in French. Now, since this is the third and the final part of our series, I'm going to teach you 3 more negations over here. Let's just get started with our first negation and. So the first negation is if you have the word déjà in your sentence. What do you mean by déjà? Déjà means already. Already. So if you have the word already in your sentence, what is the negative of already? The negative of already is not yet. So what is the basic rule of negation? For negating a sentence, you always search for the verb in your sentence. You always search for the verb in your sentence. Before the verb, you put ne, and after the verb, you put any negation like you put pas, you put rien, you put jamais, you put nulle part. You can put various other negations. Now, similarly, here, if you want to say not yet, then in that case, you will say ne plus verbe plus pas encore. So you'll search for the verb. Before the verb, you're going to put ne, and after the verb, you're going to put pas encore, which will make it ne plus verb plus pas encore, and the meaning that you will get is not yet. Now let's understand this in more detail through examples. The first example which is reflecting on your screen is c'est déjà 6 heures. C'est déjà 6 heures. Now here the word is déjà. And what do you actually mean by this? It means it's already 6 o'clock. It's already 6 o'clock. So the negation of this would be it's not yet 6 o'clock. So if you have the word déjà in your sentence, the negation would be ne plus verbe plus pas encore. For that, you will always have to search for the verb in your sentence. The verb is est, which is the verb être. This is the verb être. So you have to search for the verb. Before the verb, you're going to put ne, and after the verb, you're going to put pas encore, which will make your sentence something like this. Ce n'est pas encore 6 heures. Ce n'est pas encore. So you see, a was the verb. Before the verb, I have put ne, and after the verb, I have put pas encore. And the meaning that you're going to get is, it's not yet 6 o'clock. It's not yet 6 o'clock. So as simple as that, search for the verb. which is a over here, it's actually the verb être. If you do not know what is the verb être and how do you conjugate it, I'm going to mention the link in the card above. You can watch that video and then come back here again. Okay, so now you've searched for the verb, which was the verb être. You've put ne before that and pas encore after that. Now, on your screen, you have the second example, which is j'ai déjà fait mon devoir. J'ai déjà fait mon devoir, which means I have already done my homework. Now, if you see over here, again, the word is déjà. Of course, the negation would be ne plus verb plus pas encore, as I already explained to you. The next task is that you have to search for the word. The verb is a, which is actually the verb avoir. Now, the negation would be, since you have searched for the verb, you have to put ne before it and pas encore after it. So your sentence will look something like this. Je n'ai pas encore fait mon devoir. Je n'ai pas encore fait mon devoir, which would mean I have not yet done my homework. Now, with this, I have completed the first negation, which is ne plus verb plus pas encore, which means not yet, and which is actually the negation of déjà, which means already. Now, let's just move on to the second negation, which is if you have the word encore in your sentence, encore, which means still. Now, you also have the word toujours. Toujours also means still. Whereas in the second part of this series, I had taught you toujours means always. Now, actually, toujours carries both the meanings. Toujours also means always. Toujours also means still, depending upon the sentence. Okay, so if the meaning of toujours in your sentence is always, then the negation would be never, as we did in the second part of our series. So the negation for toujours was ne plus verb plus jamais, which was never. Now here, if the meaning of toujours is still, if it means still, now encore always means still. The word encore always means still, whereas toujours can mean always, can mean still. If it means always, then the negation would be never, which we did in the second part. Now, if the meaning is still, if the meaning of toujours is still, then the negation would be ne plus verb plus plus, plus, which means no more. So if, as simple as that, the negation of still is no more. Okay, so encore, the negation is ne plus verb plus plus, and the negation of toujours, if it means still, then the negation would be ne plus verb plus plus, which means no more. Now let's understand this negation through some examples. The first example which is reflecting on your screen is il y a encore une boulangerie dans mon village. Il y a encore une boulangerie dans mon village, which means there is still a bakery in my village. Now, the word which has to be negated is encore. Encore means still. I told you encore always means still. Now, the negation of this would be ne plus verb plus plus, which means no more. So, basically, I want to say there is no more any bakery in my village. So, what was the basic negation of il y a? If you remember, we did this in the first part of our series. What was the negation of il y a? The negation of il y a was il n'y a pas. Il n'y a pas. Now here the only change would be instead of pas, you're going to write this negation, which is plus. So instead of pas, you're going to write il n'y a plus. Il n'y a plus. And then, so your sentence will look something like this. Il n'y a plus de boulangerie dans mon village. Now, if you see over here, what you have is the indefinite article. If you remember in the first part of negation, I taught you, if you have indefinite articles or if you have the partitive articles in your sentence, while negating, those articles change into de. So I've applied the same rule over here. Il y a encore une. While negating this une, which was indefinite article, it changed into de. Okay, so il n'y a plus de boulangerie dans mon village, which would give you the sense of there is no more any bakery in my village. Il y a encore une boulangerie dans mon village. Il n'y a plus de boulangerie dans mon village. Now, let's look at the second example, which is j'écris toujours des cartes postales. J'écris toujours des cartes postales. Now, toujours, the word over here is toujours.
I told you toujours has two meanings. Toujours also means always and toujours also means still. Now depends upon your sentence. If your sentence means I always write postcards, then the negation would be I never write postcards. Okay. Then the negation would be ne plus va plus jamais, which we did in the second part of our series. Okay. But now here I don't want to say I always write postcards. I want to say I still write postcards. So in that case, the negation would be I no more write the postcards. Yeah. So now here for negating a sentence, you always have to search for the word. Now the verb over here is the verb écrire, écrire, which means to write. So since you've searched for the verb, now before the verb you're going to put ne, and after the verb you're going to put plus in order to make it I no more write. Okay. And your sentence will look something like this. Je n'écris plus de cartes postales. Again, I did the same thing. There was an indefinite article over here, which was they. This was an indefinite article. Now, I changed that indefinite article into the, which I explained in the first part. Okay. Je n'écris plus de cartes postales because the quantity finishes. Basically, when you negate a sentence, the quantity finishes. Here you're saying, I still write some postcards. Okay, some postcards. But here, the moment you negate it, it becomes I no more write any postcards. So the quantity some changed into any. So that's why the indefinite articles and the partitive articles, they change into the when you negate a sentence. So coming back to our example, j'écris toujours des cartes postales, je n'écris plus de cartes postales. Now let's look at our third and the final negation, which is if you have a or ou in your sentence. That means if you have and or in your sentence, in that case, what do? Now I'll explain this to you through an example. Let's say if you have I like the chocolates and the ice creams. Of course, whenever you will have and in your sentence or whenever you will have or in your sentence, you will always have two things. For example, I like the chocolates and the ice creams. So and has actually joined two things, the chocolates and the ice creams. You want tea or coffee? Now, if I have or in my sentence, I have two things, tea or coffee. Now, whenever you will have and or in your sentence, the negation would be I like the chocolates and the ice creams. The negation would be I neither like chocolates nor ice creams. So the negation of and or, the negation of a or ou would be neither or nor. Now, how do you say that neither or nor in French? That is said by, of course, again, you have to search for the verb in your sentence. Before the verb, you're going to put ne, as I wrote, ne plus verb. Now, since you have two things in your sentence, if you see, I've written première chose, and here I've written deuxième chose. Première chose, which means first thing. Deuxième chose, which means second thing. So before the first thing, you have to put ni, which means neither. And before the second thing, you have to put another ni. So basically, you have two ni in your sentence. The first ni, which is put before the first thing, and the second ni, which is put before the second thing. So two ni, which would mean neither or nor. And I would write that in English as well. So basically, you have to write neither nor. Okay. So whenever you have and or in your sentence, the negation would be neither or nor. For that, you have to apply this formula. Ne plus verbe plus ni plus première chose, which means the first thing, plus ni plus deuxième chose, which means the second thing. Now, let's understand this in more detail through some examples. The first example, which is reflecting on your screen, is j'aime les chocolats et les glaces. J'aime les chocolats et les glaces. Now, the word which has to be negated over here is the word a, which means and. And now you see, by the usage of the word a, which means and, I have joined two things. The first thing is the chocolates and the second thing is the ice creams. Now, in order to negate it, of course, you will say, I neither like chocolates nor ice creams. So for that, first of all, according to our formula, you have to search for the verb in our sentence. The verb is aime. Je n'aime. Je n'aime. Then you'll search for the first thing in your sentence, which is les chocolats. Before that, you have to put ni. And then the second thing is les glaces. Before that second thing, you're going to put another ni. The first ni is for neither and the second thing is for nor. So, je n'aime ni les chocolats ni les glaces. Your sentence will look like this. Je n'aime ni les chocolats ni les glaces, which means I neither like chocolates nor ice creams. So basically, the verb was aime. Before that, you have put ne. The first thing was les chocolats. Before that, you've put the first ni. And the second thing was les glaces. Before that second thing, you've put another ni. So ne, ni, ni. Je n'aime ni les chocolats ni les glaces. I neither like chocolates nor ice creams. Let's look at our second example, which is il adore chanter et danser. He loves singing and dancing. Again, the conjunction, the word which has to be negated, which we have used over here is a. By using a, I have joined two things, which is singing and dancing. Chanter et danser. Now, I have to negate it. For negating, we have to search for the verb in our sentence. The verb is adore. Before this verb, I'm going to put ne. And then search for the first thing in your sentence. The first thing is chanter. Before the first thing, I'm going to put ni. And before the second thing, which is danser, I'm going to put the second ni, which will make it il n'adore ni chanter ni danser. He neither loves singing nor dancing. Il n'adore ni chanter ni danser. Ne before the first verb, ni before the first thing, and second ni before the second thing. Now let's look at our third example, which is je veux du café et du thé, which means I want some coffee and some tea. Now over here, the word is again a, which has to be negated. There are two things, coffee and tea. You have to search for the verb in your sentence. The verb is veut, which is the verb vouloir. Now before the verb, you're going to put ne. Okay, and then search for the first thing. The first thing is du café, some coffee. And the second thing is du thé. Before the second thing, you're going to put another ni. Before the first thing, you're going to put first ni. And before the second thing, you're going to put another ni. So your sentence will look something like this. Je ne veux ni café ni thé. So before the verb, you've put ne. Before the first thing, you've put the first ni. And before the second thing, you've put the second ni, which makes it I neither want coffee nor tea. Now there is a twist over here. If you see, I have not written du and du, right? Whereas in the first example where we saw, here I have very well written les and les in the negative sentence as well. So in the first part of our series negation, I had taught you, whenever you make a sentence negative, the indefinite and the partitive articles, they change into the. They change into the. But now in specifically this negation, specifically in ne, ni, there is a new rule. The new rule says that in this type of negation, you do not write your indefinite and partitive article at all. There is no problem with writing the definite articles and the contracted articles. If you have the definite articles and the contracted articles, there is no problem in writing it in the negative sentence also. So if you see, j'aime les chocolats et les glaces. In the negative, I wrote, je n'aime ni les chocolats ni les glaces. There was no problem in writing les and les. Whereas here, je veux du café et du thé. When I negated this, I did not write my partitive article at all. Had it been any other negation, let's say ne jamais, ne plus, ne pas encore, ne personne, the rule was that you change your indefinite and partitive articles into the. Whereas in this negation, the rule says that you do not write your indefinite and partitive articles at all. And that's the reason I have avoided the article completely. Je ne veux ni café ni thé. I neither want coffee nor tea. Now, on your screen, you're seeing some of the practice questions. Répondez négativement aux questions suivantes, which means you have to reply negatively to the following questions. On your screen, you're seeing 7 questions. The question is that you have to reply negatively to the questions using the rules that I've taught you in this video. I'm going to do the first as an example with you, and rest of them, you need to do it on your own. Take a notebook, take a pen, just do all of them on your own, and then check your answers from the description box below. I'm going to mention all the correct answers in the description box below. So let's look at the first one, which is Tu manges encore des escargots, which means you still eat some snails. Tu manges encore des escargots? Now, if I pose you this question, what will you reply? No, I no more eat. So basically, tu will change into je. And now, the word over here is encore. Encore. Encore means still. What is the negation of still? The negation is ne plus verbe plus plus. So this is je ne mange. And now encore, the negation is plus. Je ne mange plus, which I've taught you in this video. And now since this is your indefinite article, it will change into, or you can call it, this is your partitive article. This will change into de or d apostrophe since it is negation. So, no, je ne mange plus d'escargots. I no more eat any snails. Tu manges encore des escargots? Non, je ne mange plus d'escargots. So similarly, all the other 6 parts, you need to do it on your own and then just check the answers from the description box below. And still, if you face any difficulty in the negation, you can mention them in the comment section below. I would be happy to help you. And now that's it for this video. With this video, I have completed the series La Négation. If you have any difficulty in this topic, you can mention them in the comment section below. If you like this video, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and for daily updates and reminders, do not forget to hit the bell icon. And I'll see you soon with the next video. Till then, au revoir, à bientôt et bisous bisous.